Yes, Mr. Louis, you're still under oath. Brigadier.
Yes, my lord.
Brigadier Gininda, just a few aspects arising from your evidence yesterday. You testify that you were appointed as the lead investigator in this matter.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Have you displayed those photos? Let's do that first. Otherwise we'll all forget. And you can flight them and mention which photo is that exhibit or photo is that.
These were flighted yesterday, my lord.
That's the identikit.
Yes, the identikit,
Exhibit.
and that's it's exhibit BB.
Exhibit BB.
Yes,
Right? Exhibit BB is the identikit.
yes.
Okay.
Then we also showed the photo album, certain photos of the photo album of Lieutenant Colonel Mhlahlo.
Yeah.
I can't remember whether it was photo 1 and 2. Then we showed it's
Are these
exhibit.
the photos
Exhibit,
around the perimeter walling of
yes,
the alleged crime scene?
yes.
So that's photo or exhibit number?
It's exhibit D,
Exhibit D.
yes. And there could be photo number 1.
And there's photo number 1 and 2.
Yes.
Right?
Then there was reference made to photos of the pointings out.
Yeah.
which I cannot find. Then exhibit S. Exhibit S, we refer to one photo. We undertake to display them on Monday, the first day, my lord.
Monday.
Yes, on Monday.
Okay. You mustn't forget then. Is that okay, Mr. Minis?
That will be fine.
Okay, fine. Monday then. All the exhibits shown during Brigadier's evidence. Okay.
Brigadier, you testified yesterday that you were appointed the lead investigator in this matter. Now, before your appointment as the lead investigator, was there a lead investigator before you?
Ungakaqokwa-ke ukuthi kuyoba wena ohola ithimba labaseshi. Wayekhona yini omunye owayehola leli thimba?
That is correct, my lord. And it was then Brigadier Shibiri. He is now a Major General Shibiri. Major General Shibiri. He's the head of the national head of the organized crime in Pretoria.
Yebo, ukhona uBrigadier Shibiri osephakamile wathola isikhundla esiphezulu manje.
As far as you could establish, did he take any of the witnesses' statements in this matter?
Wayeke wathatha itatimende zabanye bofakazi kulelo daba?
His team, my lord. So he was the lead, but I know that some of his members did take statement and I got that from the briefing because one had to consult with him after this mandate was given to me.
Yebo ngiyazi ukuthi abanye babo ababesethembeni lakhe bazithatha istatement ngoba bake sahlala phansi wangicebisa ukuthi udaba luhamba kanjani yilapho ke ngathola khona ukuthi abanye bazithathile lezi statement
and that he was actively involved in the investigation.
Nokuthi ke yena wayenesandla impela session.
In fact, my lord, he was the lead investigator, but the coordinator, the person that was assigned to coordinate the investigation was Brigadier Sinono, who is now a Major General in the provincial office of the Hawks in KZN. He was the coordinator of the team. General Shibiri was the lead investigator.
Ukhona ke lo oyehlanganisa konke uBrigadier Sinono so Major General KZN uBrigadier Shibiri kokuyena oholayo lo munye ke uyena ohlanganisa.
You testified yesterday that Warrant Officer Makubo deposed to the A1 statement in the docket Foslores 3751 of 2019.
Yes, my lord. I said actually, according to the case system, he is registered as the complainant. I was trying to find to get my hands to the copies of 375, but he is registered as the complainant in that case, my lord.
Yeah, Warrant Makubu, Officer Makubu, what about the statement the 375 of 1 of 2019? Pendulo githi yebo uyena ke ubonakala uyena ummangali kulolo daba.
You also mentioned the second name that is associated with the docket, the name of Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi. Do you know if she also deposed to an affidavit in docket 3751 of 2019?
Yes, I've seen her affidavit, my lord.
Yebo ule Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi naye wayibhala i-affidavit and uthi ke umfakazi wayibona.
I just wish to refer you to a proposition that was put to Lieutenant Colonel Mangena by Mr. Ngumezulu during the proceedings of the 28th of August 2024. It's on page 18. From line 7, Mr. Mgomezulu, are you aware that Warrant Officer Makubo is investigating the docket 375/1/2019? Are you aware of that? Close quotations. Now, according to this proposition, Warrant Officer Makubo is the investigating officer in Foslores 375/1/2019. Now, in the light of your evidence now, is it normal for someone who deposes to an A1 statement that is now the complainant statement to also be an investigator of that case?
So, my lord, no. So, to maintain objectivity, you will try to separate the IO from the investigator. It's a question of objectivity because then you become, you know, you are the complainant and you also conducting investigation. There are instances where police officers open cases. I've done it myself, but you will do the best that you can that the investigator is not necessarily a complainant because there will be a conflict. You can imagine when the IO collects evidence on his behalf, you know, to sort of support his narrative as the complainant. So it's a practice that is not normal. That's what I would suggest.
Kuthiwa-ke uLieutenant Makubo wayewumseshi kulelu daba lelu ka-375 of 1 of 2019 wabuzwa lapha umnesi ukuthi uyakwazi yini lokho ethi manje imibuzo lana uthi into ejwayelekile eyenzekayo yini ukuthi umuntu owummangali ecaleni aphinde kube uyena uba umseshi athi yebo amaphoyisa ayakwazi ukuvula amacala kodwa ke akukuhle ukuthi ke umuntu owumangali nanoma eyiphoyisa phinde kube uyena owenza uphenyo kulolu daba alumangale.
You mentioned yesterday that you made copies of the docket in this matter, First Lord's Cast 63610 of 2014, and gave copies thereof to each member of your team. Are you aware if Warrant Officer Makubo ever carried the original docket of 63610 of 2014?
No, my lord, he never carried that docket. When I ordered that copies must be made, I also gave a specific instruction that I will retain the original. So at no stage was the original given to any members, not only Warrant Officer Makubo. They only had copies of the docket 636 of 10/2014.
Nanoma ke amakopi e-docket le 636 of 10/2014 enziwa, kodwa ke i-original iyagcinwa ufakazi, akaze kuvunyelwe Warrant Officer Makubo akwazi ukufinyelela noma ukuba ne-docket i-original yaleli cala lika 636 of 10/2014.
But the copies, my lord, were not made in isolation of them. In other words, it was not a situation where you come and say, here are the copies. They've had access to see the docket original when it was given to us. And then I then gave a directive to say copies will be made, and then so that one can analyze, what they see, and then we can come together to see, to pave the way forward. I do know, for example, my lord, that when copies were made for Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi, it was made in the office. I delegated one of my members who took the original there, and then she made copies herself from her office out of the originals. But the original docket was always retained by me to date, my lord.
Nanoma kwenziwa amakopi enziwa mhlambe u-under njengo-Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi waleli docket, la i-original yayihlala ngazo zonke ikhathi inama zange idluliselwe kwabanye.
Sorry, my lord, just to qualify that, the only time the original would leave my hands is when it was sent to the DPP in Johannesburg first, when we were looking to this matter, and the DPP here in Pretoria. So those were the instances where it will go to the DPP and back to us, and DPP not holding and back to me, my lord.
Athi i-docket lena i-original yaphuma ezikhathini ezimbili kuphela ezandleni zethu. Eyokuqala ukuthi ke yiswa ku-DPP, ukuqala yaseke eGoli, yaseke futhi ke idluliselwa ku-DPP Pretoria, kodwa yasebuyela kithi.
And when Brigadier Shibiri, hope this is correct rank, when Brigadier Shibiri was still the lead investigator, do you know if Warrant Officer Makubo carried the original docket?
No, insofar as so the correct rank, my lord, is Major General Shibiri now. That's his rank. Insofar as I know, Warrant Officer Makubo was not part of that investigation team, my lord.
Engikwazi ukuthi Warrant Officer Makubo akakaze abe omunye wethimba ilungu lethimba elali lenza uphenyo kulolu daba.
And the original docket was under the control of both Brigadier Shibiri, General Shibiri and General Sinono, because when we did the handing over, I had to sign the receiving of what was contained in the docket from them, my lord.
And futhi ke original leni yayiphethwe uGeneral Shibiri no General Sinono. Ngama ngiyithola mina kubona ngayisayini there.
Now, in cross-examination of Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, Mr. Mngomezulu made the following proposition during the proceedings of 28 August 2024, page 18, regarding Warrant Officer Makubo, and it starts at line 14, Warrant Officer Mngomezulu, Mr. Mngomezulu. Let me get back into what we, as a version of Warrant Officer Makubo. He said he was called, that is now Warrant Officer Makubo, he said he was called to the scene. Upon his arrival Cedric Sibiya called him and asked him if he observed what has happened here, what could be his opinion, and Warrant Officer Makubo, after he assessed the scene, he told General Sibiya then and there that there are no intruders that came there. And just before that, in the first 5 lines of page 18, Mr. Mgomezulu put the proposition to Lieutenant Colonel Mangena. It says, Warrant Officer Makubo was called by General Sibiya that night. Upon his arrival, that is now upon the arrival of Warrant Officer Makubo, General Sibiya called him aside to assist him to reconstruct the crime scene and certain questions. Now, the first question to you is, what is your comment regarding this proposition that Warrant Officer Makubo would have been called aside whilst on the scene by General Sibiya and asked to reconstruct the crime scene?
So, my lord, I can't comment as to whether there was a discussion then between Warrant Officer Makubo and General Sibiya on that day. I don't know if they met and what was discussed. What I can refer to is the docket, because it's a guideline in terms of the preliminary analysis that was done on the 26th of October 2014, my lord.
Umbuzo uthi uyazini ukuthi uGeneral Sibiya wakwabuzela uWarrant Officer Makubo endaweni esigameko ukuthi kamsize ngokubuyisa umqondo ukuthi kwangabe kwenzekeni lapha endaweni esigameko nokuthi kambuzeke eminye imibuzo athi cha ngikwazi ukuthi ngaphawula nokuthi bahlangana noma khona ingxoxo ababanazo, kodwa ke ngingakuphawula ke mina nje ukuthi kwenzekani ngedocket.
Now, my lord, if you take the docket into account and the facts that I'm going to mention subsequent to this, that proposition is baseless, and I'll indicate why.
Sibhekisisa idocket kuyabonakala ukuthi hayi lo mqondo lo awunasisekelo.
Now, number one, my lord, when you reconstruct a crime scene, and I'm starting there, you will require expertise, especially in this matter, because we have facts. It's not an assumption. You can look at what happened at this crime scene, the photos that were taken. There is blood, there's projectiles that was found. Logic dictates that you will expect blood splatters experts to be there, ballistic experts to be there, crime scene managers to be there. Those are experts who are qualified in the reconstruction of the crime scene. And that could not have been overlooked if you take into account the senior members of the police who were at this crime scene.
Uma sekuzozama ukuthi kubuyiswe ukuthi kwakwenzekeni kuleyo ndawo, kudingeka ukuthi kube nochwepheshe abazobheka indaba yezithombe, ngoba sasinabo ubufakazi besingabusebenzisa into njengezithombe negazi nokuthi ke futhi ke inhlamvu lena yahamba kanjani. Bayadingeka ukuthi kube nochwepheshe lapha njengoba kunaba mkantshubovu lapha emaphoyiseni kuleyo ndawo, kwangeke kwenzeke ukuthi ke zonke lezi zinto bakhohle noma bangazenzi ngendlela efanele.
Secondly, my lord, once that is done, in the docket you would have found a statement from Warrant Officer Makubo indicating, for example, what he has done in the reconstruction of the crime scene. In this docket that we've disclosed to the defense, there is no such statement.
Futhi ke edokethini wonke kune statement esikaMakubo esichazayo ukuthi yena wenzani nani, manje sikho ke leso statement edokethini.
Secondly, there is no statement by anyone who was there, my lord, on the 26th of October 2014 indicating that Warrant Officer Makubo was asked to reconstruct any crime scene.
Futhi ke sikho statement esishoyo ukuthi siphuma kunanombani wayekhona kuleyo ndawo esigameko echaza ukuthi uwarrant officer Makhubo wacela ukuthi akasize ukubuyisa ukuthi kwangebe kwenzekeni endaweni yobugebengu.
There is further no indication whether from Warrant Officer Makhubo or any of the witnesses who were at the crime scene, including neighbors, that says they were interviewed by Warrant Officer Makhubo on that day.
Futhi akukho lutho olukhombisa ukuthi uwarrant Makhubo noma ababekhona omakhelwane lapho ukuthi bacela ukuthi babuzwe imibuzo uwarrant officer Makhubo.
Now, my lord, the only crime scene experts that we have in this docket, for the first time on the day of the incident, you will pick up Warrant Officer Muzi, who was then subsequently followed by Mutlatho on the following day, and the ballistic expert who came. On the 26th of October 2014, there is no indication except the local detectives, even them who were present, their statements are there. There is no indication of this assertion that I'm being told about, my lord.
Futhi ke la ngaphakathi kwedocket ama-expert abonakalayo ochwepheshe abonakalayo kubonakala lapha uwarrant officer Muzi olandelwa umuhlahlo ngelanga elilandelayo. Akukho khona la kukhombisa ukuthi ngomhla ka-26 kulenyanga ka-October 2014 kwakungekho uchwepheshe wayekhona lapho.
And based on that, my lord, I see no basis because I'm guided by the docket. As I say, I was not there when this thing happened, but the docket does not tell me that such was done, my lord.
Njengoba mina ngithola konke engikubhekayo edokethini ngithi akukho la ukukhona la edokethini okukholela ukuthi ngicabanga ukuthi lokho okubekiwe ngabe kwenzekile.
Thank you. If we can then get back to where we stopped yesterday afternoon, we were about to deal with Exhibit FF. That is the confession made by accused number 1 to Colonel Mboto, which you have referred to.
Yes, my lord.
Now, the version of accused number 1 that was put to the witnesses is in essence that what is stated in this document does not come from accused number 1. In other words, they're saying that accused number 1 is not the source of what is contained in this document, that accused number 1 was approached with these documents already completed. Now, what is your comment, given the contents of the document?
Manje mase sikhuluma ke ukuthi ke umsolo oqala wavuma icala ku Mbotho. Ubekwa umsolo uqala uthi yena le confession lena noma wamukela icala lokho kukhona lapha kuphumi kuyena uthi ke le document le ephetheke ukwamukela icala yafika kuyena isibhaliwe. Thini ngalokho?
My lord, that cannot be true, and I'm basing that on the details that are in this confession that could only have been known by accused number 1. I did not even know the details that are contained here, and I can deal with them as we go along.
Manje mina ke ngigxile kakhulu noma ngicike kakhulu ekutheni lokhu okukhishiwe lana kukhishwe imininingwane eminingi ebingaziwa kuphela umsolo uqala. So lokho ukuthi statement lesasiphuma kuyena ngeke kwazi ukuba iqiniso ngoba eminingi lemininingwane kwasamina bengeke ngiyazi ngangayazi.
The first point of departure, my lord, is that at the time when accused number 1 was approached, the only evidence that we had in the form of a sworn affidavit was the statement from Absolute Zungu, and that statement implicated him and accused number 2.
Oqala ke ukuthi lana ke umsolo qala istatement esasinaso esokuthi wabzolo umsolo mzulu wena wakhomba yena nomsolo wesibili.
But in his confession, my Lord, he then introduces Marco Buthelezi and Qiniselani as the co-perpetrators who were present. We did not know those names, so they could not have come up from anywhere except from him, because this was also followed up, my Lord.
Uthi ke manje uyani wakhipha igama lika Marco Buthelezi noqiniselani besingeke swazi lamagama uma ebengaveli kuyena wathi besingasilutho ngalamagama.
Yes, my Lord, that is a point of departure.
Yes, where do we see those names?
So if you go to paragraph 1 of the annex, in other words, the statement, my Lord, after the pro forma, it reads as follows: that on that week, in that year, during the week, it was on Wednesday, I was at my place at the hostel in Basutu section, and I received a call from my friends Marco Buthelezi and Makimba Buthelezi. Both were staying at Basutu's hostel, but Zulu section. The person who was calling me was Marco, but I heard on the background that he was with Makimba. I told him that I am present, and he said he is coming with Makimba. So this is the version, my Lord, that he continues to keep up to the time to give, up to the time that he alleges that they went to kill the deceased in this matter. We followed this version, my Lord, and found that this was not correct, because these two people were in prison from 2013 up to 2016.
I've lost some of the details. Manje uthi lana ke ngalelo sonto lelo kulowo nyaka phakathi neviki ngokungu lesithathu ngangisendaweni yase hostel endaweni yaseBasutu section ningathola ke ucingo elivela kubangani bami uMarco Buthelezi noMakimba Buthelezi bobabili ke babehlala Historias hostel kodwa kule ngxenye ke ehlala amaZulu. Umuntu ko ayengithintayo ngocingo kokuMarco kodwa ngezwe ukuthi kukhona aye naye lapho kunokuthi aye noMakimba. Ngase ngimtshela ukuthi mina ngikhona and futhi ke yena uzoza mina noMakimba.
Now, my Lord, Makimba is also Qiniselani Buthelezi, because we managed to get to him, and a statement from him was obtained with regards to this, as one was trying to corroborate this confession, my Lord.
Manje uMakimba yena uyani uqinisana noMthelezi sakwazi ukumthola na cross statement sakhe.
And where did you find him?
I found him at Kalagabushe prison, my Lord, in KZN. That's where he was incarcerated.
Ngamthola ejele laseKalagabushe KZN ila evalelwe khona.
And the records, my Lord, confirm that he was indeed in detention from 2013 together with his brother Marco, and they were released briefly in 2016, where he was then arrested again. This is Qiniselani, and thereafter Marco was then killed. I think around 2019. We also obtained his death certificate. Was shot and killed.
Just a minute, just
my apologies.
Give the interpreter a chance to
Yes,
interpret.
my apologies.
Sakwazi ukuthi esithole khona lapha ejele ukuthi ke babe sejele ukusola ngo2013 ukuze bayophinde bayophuma ngo2016 lapho aphinda khona ke waboshwa uqiniselana sathola ke nokuthi uMarco yena wagcina eshonile.
And my Lord, in the description of accused one now in this confession, he described one of this individual as having the dreadlocks and being the one carrying the firearm. In other words, he gives the description that in our view, based on our investigation, it's accused number 3, but he just changes the name to try and mislead us because the facts that he referred to are aligned with this matter.
Manje ke lana umsolo oqala ke wazama ukuchaza lo omunye njengo wayena dreadlocks. Yazi ukuthi lapho ke wayechaza ke ngoba umsolo wesithathu wayena dreadlocks kodwa ke amagama angewona ngoba wayezama ukusilahlekisa.
Furthermore, my Lord, it does make mention on this confession that he was informed that when the perpetrators went inside their house, they demanded cell phone and money. It's contained in his confession. Now, this is in line with what the witnesses inside the house are saying, that the perpetrators demanded cell phone and money. He told this to Colonel Mboto and Lieutenant Colonel Hadebe.
Watshela uKolonel Mboto no Hadebe ukuthi ke laba abangena lapha endaweni bafike bacela cell phone bafuna nemali ngoba ke kuyaziwa ukuthi ke labo abangena lapha endlini bafika nabo bafika benza lokho bafika bacela cell phone nemali.
My Lord, furthermore, on this confession, he does make mention of a white polo that he says was used. The evidence that we have is that it was a silver polo, so he was close describing the right car, but a different color, a gray color. I mean, a gray polo, my Lord.
Siyazi ke futhi ukuthi wathi echaza wathi imoto yasetshenziswa lapho is polo emhlophe. Siyazi ukuthi umbala wale polo wawuyisilver. Kusho ukuthi wachaza imoto kahle kodwa ke nje wathi ukuphuma kancane ngombala.
And that silver, that gray polo, my Lord, insofar as our investigation is concerned, is associated with accused number 5. Insofar as that vehicle was concerned, that is a vehicle that was used during the commission of this offense.
Futhi ke leyo polo le khulunywa silver yiVolvo esikwazi ukuthi sorry iPolo sorry not iVolvo eyaqhunyaniswa nomsolo wesihlanu wasiyazi ukuthi iyona moto eyasetshenziswa kulobu gebengu.
And it was driven by accused number 5.
Futhi ke leyo moto ke ishayelelwa umsolo wesihlanu.
And how are you able to establish that it is associated with accused number 5?
My Lord, what we did as we are moving away now, when we were now looking at accused number 5, we audited his ID number to try and establish vehicles that are associated with him.
Uma sesihlola umsolo wesihlanu sathatha ke inamba ke kamazisa wakhe ukuhlola ukuthi iziphi imoto ezikwazi ukuthi ziqhunyaniswe naye.
Through the assistance of the traffic department, I think Mr. Matlowo Chupi assisted us, my Lord, in linking accused number 5 with this grey VW Polo. Although the date was different, but it was associated with it at a specific day that he was given an infringement using that particular vehicle, a grey silver, a grey VW Polo.
Tonight sathi kuma sizama ukulandelela umkhondo sathola uMatlowo wakwa traffic wasiza ukuthi sikwazi ukubona ukuthi imoto ke iVW Polo egrey iyakwazi ukuthi iqhunyaniswe nomsolo wesihlanu.
But in addition, my Lord, there are statements. I think Sizwe Zungu also gave a statement to that effect, my Lord. So there are witness statements. I'm not so sure whether I will still call others, but who indicates that accused 5 was driving a grey VW Polo, silver or grey VW Polo, on the day of the incident.
Okunye futhi ukuthi uSizwe Zungu wasitshela estatementini sakhe ukuthi umsolo wesihlanu wayeshayela yona le moto eVW Polo egrey.
I just want to, is it correct that Mr. Matlowo testified in this matter?
That is correct, my Lord.
Mr. Matlowo naye wezoletha ubufakazi kulolu daba.
I just want to show you his affidavit, which was ended up as Exhibit AAA in brackets 1. and in particular paragraph H of his affidavit that appears on page 5. If I can ask you to read the contents of that paragraph in the report.
Which paragraph? The top paragraph.
Paragraph H.
Paragraph H. Okay, Nati's records indicate that Mr. Fisoku Ntuli, ID 8601105612086, was issued with infringement handwritten notice number 1-0011-016 by Traffic Officer MJ Stoffy, Officer's Infrastructure Number 49512K9R, attached to JMPD Issuing Authority. The particulars of the infringement are shown below.
Kuthiwe lana-ke umshenekelo wenathisi uyakhombisa ukuthi ufisa okuhle Ntuli ne-ID ka-860110 561286 wathola ithikithi eli-notice 011-064689990-0 enikwa iphoyisa-ke uStofile lalingaphansi kwe-JMPD.
Yes, the particulars.
Infringement notice.
Yes, it says infringement and motor vehicle particulars. Should I?
Yes, yes, we will proceed.
Yes, that it was issued to Ntuli F, and the cell phone number, my lord, it's 073. I think it's 30592. Yeah, it's a small writing, my lord, so the court will bear with me. But it refers to a Volkswagen vehicle, and then the color is white. The date is 2016 0209, my lord, if I can see correctly. Area, it says Johannesburg. Location and date of the infringement, my lord, it says Johannesburg in Gauteng, my lord.
Lana ichaza ukuthi ke ithikithi leli walithola ngayiphi mothola ukuthi ke igama liyavela ukuthi uNtuli lona wathola leli thikithi kubekwe ne phone number yakhe kuyasho ukuthi ayahamba nge-VW enombala omhlophe ngomhla 9 kuFebruary 2016 endaweni yaseJohannesburg.
Is there any other infringement notice? If you can go to the next paragraph.
Yes, my lord. So on paragraph K, it reads as follows: that the National Traffic System NATIS records further indicate that an infringement number 01-01011-0168163-848 was issued to Mr. Fisoku Ntuli, ID number 8601105612086 by Traffic Officer identified as M.A. Mudisane, Officer's Infrastructure Number 49512HB9, attached to JMPD Issuing Authority on the date in question. The full particulars of the infringement are shown below on page 7 to 22.
Uthola lapha lathi siyakhombisa lapha ukuthi uFisokuhle Ntuli one-ID ka-880110581286 wathola ithikithi elinikwa u-traffic officer u-MA Modisane osebenzela i-JMPD.
Now, my lord, on the next page, the particulars of the infringements were issued to F. Ntuli, and it indicates that the vehicle is a VW Polo. It indicates that the color is gray, and the date is 2016-03-20 that I see, my lord. And the location, rather the place where this was issued, it says City or Town, Johannesburg, suburb Johannesburg, and the street name is Klein Street.
Chaza imininingwane yaleli thikithi alithola ukuthi lanikwa wefa Ntuli owahamba nge-VW Polo eGrey ngomhla ka-20 kuMarch 2016 edolobheni lase-Johannesburg emgwaqweni okuthiwa uClaim Street.
Any other particulars of the infringer as per the infringement notice?
No, my lord, because the next paragraph deals with the ownership of this Polo, my lord.
It's by the ID number, the cell phone number?
Yes. So the cell phone number that I see, my lord, is 073-305-92, I think it's 02, my lord, the cell phone number.
Cell phone evela lapho u-073-305-9202.
The ID number, my lord, it's very small. I can't really. I can see that it's 86011 Yeah, no. The last digit, my lord, is 2086. The ones in the middle are a bit smallly written, my lord.
In any case, it's already on record.
My lord, this exhibit was the witness who compiled this statement or this statement, this report, had already testified in this court, my lord. We all have this exhibit that the witness is repeating, and it is irrelevant because all those infringements were in 2016. We are here talking about the incident that took place in 2014. Therefore, I object, my lord, on the basis of irrelevancy and reputation, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Baloyi.
Well, regarding the second aspect of relevance, I submit with the greatest respect that the evidence is relevant. The witness mentioned the fact that in the confession of accused number 1, reference is made to a VW Polo, and Mr. Matlow also refers to the fact that an infringement notice was issued in the name of accused number 5. Even if it was some 2 years later, the state will argue at the end of the day that this is strong circumstantial evidence. It is therefore relevant. As far as repetition is concerned, context must be given to the evidence. That's why the witness is referring to the affidavit of Mr. Matlow. So we submit that on both scores, my lord, that this evidence ought to be allowed.
Yeah, the evidence is allowed on the basis of relevance.
As a court, please. In any case, we are done with the affidavit of Mr. Matlow.
Yes.
Just before we take the normal short adjournment, my lord, we have referred to the version of accused number 1. We just want to place on record that this version is seen on the record of 11 October 2023, page 16, line 5 to 7 and 8 to 15. Where then counsel for accused number 1, Mr. Ramusipele, said the following: my lord, let me clarify from my perspective. my instructions are that he never made a statement. He also denied that he made any admission or pointing out. He never made a statement. The making of the statement needs to be clarified because he says the statement was brought to him.
Yes.
Can we then take the normal short adjournment at this stage?
Okay. 15 minutes.